Hey guys, one of my goals this year is to find 10 rings. Um, that would be easier on the beach, shouldn't be a problem. But I've got limited time and I can't get to the beach very often. So I'd like to find these rings in the park, in the grass. I know it's doable, but you gotta dig a lot of trash. Well, I don't want to dig as much trash. I don't want to dig everything. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to use their single frequencies and perhaps multi-frequency on the Equinox to see if there is some way to cut out some of the trash. Even if it's just the can slaw. Just if there is some way to differentiate between a ring with using any of the settings of the Equinox, a ring, or basically any gold or silver object, jewelry, to see if there's any way to differentiate that between your typical junk that you find when you're digging up, looking for rings. So here's my methodology. I've got an assortment of things that I've dug here recently that you typically find when you're looking for gold. Foil pull tabs, and there's a beaver tail in there. I've got the Equinox set up. I think I'm on sensitivity 15. I've got noise canceled, ground balance 0, recovery speed is at 4. I'm using part 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a series of gold and silver rings that I've found, and I'm going to sweep them first using multi. Then I'm going to try 4 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz, and then 40 kilohertz. I'm going to sweep them through the coil 10 times, and I'm going to write down the lowest number that I see and the highest number that I see for those objects. I'm going to do that for each frequency. And I'm going to try a lot of different jewelry, and I'm going to see if there's any correlation between, or if there's any difference between gold jewelry and some of these trash objects, to see if there's any way that we can ignore some of the stuff. Now, sometimes you can, like that big chunk of can slaw is probably going to pinpoint large, so if you're better and more confident, you might skip that. Or maybe that piece right there. But these little pieces of foil and pull tabs, well, they pinpoint pretty much just like a ring. I can't tell any difference. So I'm going to do the first one here on camera just so you can see what my methodology is. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pull tab, and I'm going to do this for each object. I'm going to do it 2 ways. So I'm going to do it first. First I'm going to do it across so the object is flat. And then I'm going to change it so the object is on edge. Okay, and I'm going to do it both those ways for the trash objects and for the ring, the jewelry. I've noticed with just my ring on, surprisingly, so I've got this ring. It comes up usually as a 13, 14. If I swing it this way, well, before it was actually a lot stabler if I swing it long ways. But right now it's actually behaving about the same as it is. It's coming up with a different number if I swing it, whether it's flat or if it's on edge. But right now it's being consistent. Earlier it wasn't as consistent, so I'm not sure what the difference is. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start doing that, and I'm going to make a huge spreadsheet. I'm going to calculate some numbers, and we're going to see what I come up with. Okay, I have tested 18 jewelry objects, mostly rings. I've got a strangely shaped gold earring there, a heart-shaped silver, a gold cross, and a pendant. Everything else is rings. This one's actually broken in the middle. had a little extension that came out of it. That's a really old World War I era ring. And this one here is, I can't remember if it doesn't look gold. It looks maybe like it was plated at some point in time. I'm not sure. It's got some fake stones in it. It's got a stamp. I think it's 10. It's stamped 10K. Who knows? It does not look like gold. Anyway, I got those done. I found some interesting things right off the bat. I haven't parsed anything. I've just written this down. So far, I would say 4 kilohertz is the absolute worst as far as spread goes. Now, that doesn't indicate ID because I haven't compared it to trash targets yet, so keep that in mind. In general, 40 kilohertz, as expected, has the least amount of spread, although there are a few outliers, on particularly the earring. I don't know if that's because it's kind of not quite a closed loop or what, because that gold earring is actually hinged, so it's kind of a strange, unusual piece. I don't know if you can see there's a hinge right there, plus there's a hinge there, and then the connection there. So who knows if that's a closed circuit or if it makes any difference. The other interesting thing I found out that it was actually very surprising to me is when the ring is swept along the face, like the ring is laying flat, it's actually less solid of a signal than if it's turned on edge. You get a much tighter VDI number, a range of VDI numbers. Sometimes it's just a single number when it's on edge, whereas this way you could get 2 or 3 numbers. I found that to be very interesting, and that was the case on several of the rings. So now I've got all of those items. I didn't test any silver stuff because silver is high range. I'm gonna end up digging it anyway, thinking it's a coin, usually. So I'm gonna go ahead and start testing the trash objects now, and hopefully I'll find some kind of pattern that will allow me to distinguish between the two to some degree, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe you just have to dig it all. We'll find out. Hey guys, so I have finished scanning the trash objects. Got a couple different pull tabs, some scrap, can slaw, one of those trink pulls or whatever they are, some larger can slaw beaver tail, and through my intense investigation, I have come to the conclusion that, first of all, 40 hertz is going to give you for most targets, for most gold range targets, 40 hertz is going to give you the most solid signal. Unfortunately, it gives you also the most solid signal on the trash objects. Just looking at the numbers, I don't think I'm going to plug this into any spreadsheet or anything, because if I scan a beaver tail and get the ring with the exact same VDI number, I can't tell any difference between the two. No matter what frequency I'm on, they behave the same way. So like beaver tail, let's see here, that's number 8. So if I pull that, actually let's get the beaver tail. So we got the beaver tail here. That's trash object number 8, which is right there. So this is the numbers it gave me. This is for multi, and this is on edge. The second number is on edge. So I just turned it basically 90 degrees in the Z axis. And this one's here, 4 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz, 40 kilohertz. So like 14 on edge, the beaver tail was a solid 11. It didn't vary at all. Scanning it flat, it was between 10 and 12. Usually these numbers, you'll get an outlier number that pops out. I usually count those, unless I can sweep it like 10 times in a row and not get that number. So it's not exactly scientific, but I've done enough, I think, to come to the conclusion, at least initially, that you have to dig it all. I am terribly sorry to say that. Now what you could do is, if you're consistently digging a certain kind of object, you could put a notch in that object to kind of help you ignore it. Other than that, I'm afraid, the problem is there's like foil. There's so many different kinds of foil. It could be wadded up. There's really an infinite number. You could come up with a foil at any number, so the same as a ring. So unfortunately, the foil you're going to have to dig. I think the best bet is just to find areas where people are engaged in heavy activities like throwing, playing with their dogs, things like that. Those are the kind of the times when things come off. Getting wet, washing their hands after like a greasy meal or something. But I haven't had a lot of luck digging gold in parks. Actually, I found some silver rings. I've found this gold pendant. I got lucky on that one. That one went right there. Somehow I found it alongside of a running trail. I don't know why I dug it. It didn't come in like a coin, but it is like one of my favorite gold pieces because it's from Beaumont River Festival, and it's from 1969, and I think it's 18K, which is super cool. It's just got that, I can't tell. It may be 14. I think it's 14. And it's just a really neat piece. It's like a little gold coin, really. But all this, most of the stuff I found in the water, which is, you just dig it all. There's not a lot of, at least at the beach, there's not a lot of trash. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're gonna have to get to digging. I'm gonna have to get to digging. All right. Hope you were helped by this. Goodbye.